Hello, hello, hello. You have just entered into the Year Trader podcast, and you can experience the journey of picking and trading stocks projected to double in the next 12 months. I'm Steve, I'm your host, and let's get started. Hi, and welcome to the Year Trader, from paycheck to portfolio. All right, I'm Steve, your host, and I'm just a regular guy who's having some fun trying to outperform the market. I'm taking $200 out of each of my paychecks and purchasing stocks based on some analysis that I'll provide throughout this show. I create a new podcast once per month where I account for my prior picks and provide some analysis for the upcoming month's picks. I put my purchases in a spreadsheet to track results that you all can see, and you can look by a link at the bottom of the video where you can go out and see those trackings, and it's tinyurl.com/the-year-trader. Anyway, it's just a Google Doc sheet that has read-only permissions on it, so you can go check out, and I will track my progress there for you. I should warn you, I am not an investment professional. I am simply sharing my journey, and should you want to use any of this analysis or stock picks for any investment of any kind, that is on you. Talk to your investment professional and make sure that the risk that I am taking is appropriate for you. My general goal each month is to identify some stocks that have at least 100% projected return over the next 12 months. I'm a year trader, not a day trader. In some cases, I may not find stocks with that amount of a predicted upside approval, and that's okay. I'm just going to look for high growth potential stocks and choose them. And then also each month I'll have a theme. And this month's theme is space. I want to invest in companies that provide products or services that support space exploration, satellite space stations, moon landings, etc. I personally believe that space is a growing market, and so I want to ride that wave of increased investment that the country and countries and companies around the world are making in space. So I break my podcast into 3 segments. The first segment is accountability. This is where I go over last month's picks and comment on the overall portfolio performance. Easy for me to say. The second segment is analysis. This is where I dive a little into specific stocks that have high potential and are part of this month's theme. And then the third segment is picks, where I actually, of the stocks that I talked about, I pick the ones that I'm going to invest in the coming month, and also the ratio of the dollars. Let's say I pick 3 stocks. One of them might get $100 worth of that $200 each paycheck, and the other 2 might get 50 or something like that. So, also, you should know, I will generally try to purchase the stocks before I record, so I've done that. And this month is a little different. I started mid-month in December, so I took $400 out of my last paycheck and spent $200 on December's picks. And that's what you'll see up front when I hold to account. And I've spent another $200 on my picks for this month, for my first set of picks. Generally, each month, I'll pick twice. In those months where I end up with 3 paychecks, then I'll get lucky and I'll have an extra $200 to invest that month as well. Anyway, so on to segment 1, accountability. Last month, let me bring up a graphic here first. Last month, I chose 2 stocks in the AI space. Irene Limited, symbol IREN, and I purchased $300 worth, so $150 twice with both my paychecks in December, with an average price of $39.92. And I also purchased Recourse Systems, symbol REKR, and I purchased $100 of that, $50 each paycheck, with an average purchase price of $1.62. So there you go. Overall, my portfolio is down 2.7%. Interestingly enough, the very day after I purchased Recourse Systems, they had an unexpected stock offering, and the current stock price took a little bit of a digger and accounted, but the current price when I bought the second time around accounted for this slight dilution. But the target remains, so we'll continue to hold. Anyway, that's my accountability for December of 2025's stocks that I've picked. So now let's go on to the analysis phase. As I stated, this month's theme is space. This isn't a list of all the space companies, but I compiled a list of 55 companies that I looked at in the space market, from giants like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman to much smaller companies providing niche components and capabilities like Momentus and Sidus Space. So I think I have a pretty good list. There's not a list out there. I've found a few different sources and compiled it together by hand. I might have missed somebody, and I'm not going to list the full list of stocks, or maybe I'll put it out on my my link, my tinyurl.com/the-year-trader. So maybe I'll put it out there. But anyway, there was 4 that were kind of at the top of the list in terms of potential returns, and so I'm going to go through each one of those. At the top of the list, with a current price of around $1.16 and a target price of $10, is Sidus Space. So let me bring up that graphic on Sidus Space. There we go. Sidus Space is a space and defense technology company that provides a vertically integrated stack of satellite manufacturing, mission operations, space-based data services, AI-enhanced analytics, and advanced hardware manufacturing. Unfortunately, this prediction of this growth, which is some 762%, was only made by a single analyst, so that was a little bit of a warning flag. And they have no quarterly revenue estimates that were performed by this analyst, and there wasn't much known about Sidus, other than that they have a NASA SBIR contract. So you know what NASA is. SBIR is small business something research contract. It's only worth like $700K or so. Wait a second, 177K. Sorry, my bad. I can't see my graphics here as I talk. And I'm learning how to produce and record at the same time here, so I apologize for that. But and then they have an IDIQ contract. So that's an indefinite quantity, indefinite delivery contract. So it doesn't have any value associated with it. What it really means is the government can, at a later date, come back to them and say, to them, plus other people that can bid on this IDIQ contract, to say, we want something like this, but there's no commitment made by the government for money behind that contract. So, and then also on the kind of the con side of this, or the risky side of this, there's an extreme dilution risk and a weak financial and rising losses. So overall, this one just seems too scary for me, and I am going to pass. So let's take that graphic down. We will move on to the next company. I've got 3 more I'm going to analyze, and then we'll go for the picks in segment 3. Next on the list is, I guess it's pronounced Kulr Technology Group, KULR Technology Group, with a current price of around $3.17, at least at the time I wrote up this podcast script, and it has a target price of 10, so about a 215% growth potential. Its symbol is KULR, and it's the target price as the average of 2 analysts on Yahoo Finance. So let me bring up the graphic on that one, and here we go. So they're a battery safety and thermal management technology company. Their entire business revolves around keeping batteries from overheating, catching fire, or failing, especially in high-risk environments like space, aerospace, defense, electric vehicles, energy storage, and high-performance electronics. This sounds like something that's really useful to me. Kulr is not yet profitable, But it has a great debt to equity ratio of 0.03, so they've got very little debt. And they have substantial cash on hand, giving it just over 2 years of operating expenses, and which gives them time to turn things around. They recently announced a joint development collaboration with a leading global battery cell manufacturer to develop next generation battery backup units for AI scale data centers. And the company has claimed, it's just a claim, that this could lead to an unspecified $100 million commercial program for them. KULR has expanded its small $2.4 million Army contract recently, validating its military-grade battery technology, and its technology is currently used in battery safety, thermal runaway protection, aerospace electronics, high-performance computing, advanced materials, and robotic exoskeletons. Anyway, I like the technology. I like the fact they have 2 years of operating cash. I like the potential growth. So I'm going to get me some of KULR. Some of the risk side of this, just to put it up there, you've seen it on the screen. They do have weak financials, and there's a dilution risk. They could decide to dilute their stock by offering out more stock, but with all that cash runway, I'm hoping that risk is somewhat small. So anyway, enough about KULR. Let's move back to the next one. The next one is a cool little company called NewScale Power Corporation. They got a current price of, at the time of the writing of the script, is about $16.07, and a target price of $37, giving it 128% growth potential in the next 12 months. Its symbol is SMR, has nothing to do with their name, but it has to do with their product. SMR stands for Small Something or Other Reactor. It's basically, they make advanced nuclear technology, and they have a design that commercializes the small modular reactors. That's what SMR stands for, small modular reactors. It's a new class of nuclear power plants that are smaller, safer, and more flexible than traditional reactors. NewScale, let me go grab their graphic. I think it's this one. Yep, there we go. NewScale is not profitable. Every metric is highly negative at the moment. They have high operating losses and heavy cash burn, and no near-term path to profitability. This is because NewScale is still in the research mode and have no reactors deployed yet, and they have heavy research and development spending. But just so you know, NewScale only has 5 months of operating cash on hand, and with a $300 million yearly burn rate, they do have multiple funding strategies to stay alive. They're actively selling equity or equity-linked securities, which is potential dilution. They launched a massive $500 million ATM equity program. This means they can continuously sell new shares on the market, but this dilutes shareholders over time. This is the primary mechanism they will use to fund operations, so this extends them out another year or so. They did raise $227 million through warrant sales. This means they're not close to self-funding their operations. Now, with some of the positives here, they have achieved an historic first. They have the first and only SMR design certified by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and this occurred this year, so it just happened. So this could bode well for the future. This is the single biggest competitive edge in the entire SMR industry, and most competitors are still years away from this type of certification. So they're clearly out in front of the other smaller nuclear reactor manufacturing energy companies. NewScale also entered a strategic partnership with Intra One Energy and has a landmark agreement with TVA to deploy 6 gigawatts of SMR capacity. So they've already lined up their first deployment. They're pushing into international markets, specifically Poland, Romania, and and the state of Idaho has come knocking at their door, so we'll have to see what that turns into. Their power plants can scale, and the utilities will replace coal plants, and it can support industrial users requiring specific power demands. There is international interest in their design. Media coverage is describing it as game-changing and capable of powering 400,000 homes and producing green hydrogen. This is all this is producing clean energy. It's a risky one, but I like where they're at. I like where they're positioned, and so I'm going to get me a little bit of new scale. Let's take down that graphic and move on to the fourth and final company I'm going to look at today. And the next one on the list is Iridium Communications. At the time of the writing of the script a few days ago, their current price was $17.04, with the target price of $30, showing a 75% upside. Let me bring up their graphic here. There's the graphic. Iridium. They operate a global satellite communications network that provides voice data and connectivity anywhere on Earth, including oceans, polar regions, and remote areas where no terrestrial networks exist. Iridium is generating positive net income right now, positive operating income, and they have strong margins, so they're a profitable company as it sits today. Iridium recently secured an $85 million IDIQ contract with the U.S. Space Force. So, like I mentioned before, on that other company, IDIQ contracts are not guaranteed income, but they can lead to future contracts. Iridium does have a long-standing partnership with the U.S. Department of Defense. The Department of Defense, or maybe it's the Department of War now, I'm not quite sure, is Iridium's most stable, high-margin customer. And so their enhanced mobilized satellite service is in a sole source relationship with the DoD or the D of War. So there's no competition there. And there is growing demand for global resilient communications, upon which Iridium provides. So I like this one. I want to get some of that. So let me take down that graphic, and we're going to get on to picking the stocks here, segment 3. So I have 2 paychecks in January, so another $400 to invest. Like I said already, I took out $200 already, so I just purchased a day or so ago some new scale, some cooler, and some Iridium, and I decided to, of that $200 each paycheck for the month of January, I'll put 25% into new scale, 25% into cooler, or $50 each of that $200, and then the remaining $100 I'll put in Iridium. That's what I've done. So, like last time, let's ask for some help from above. Dear Lord, please lead us to a life of joy that aligns with your plan for us. I am grateful for all in my life and everything and every experience in the universe. I ask for your blessing on these stock picks, as I will endeavor to do good with any bounty that I may receive through your grace. In your Son's name, who died for our sins and is the path to everlasting life. Amen. All right, that ends the show for today. Let me put up this graphic here. You can find me on YouTube at the Year Trader. You can email me at theyeartrader@gmail.com. And again, if you want to see how I hold myself to account, and there's a Google spreadsheet that you can go view at tinyurl.com/the-year-trader. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.